Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Bharat.
I'm Supra.
Today we are here to discuss about a very pressing topic on how to deal with stress during this pandemic. During a national survey which was conducted in our country, it was found that 60% of the population are suffering from stress related problems. And guess what? The main reasons are work and finances. And this was done during the COVID-19 situation. And if you see, the situation now is even more bad. So the current situation is very alarming, as we know. So more than ever, we need to be aware of our mental well-being. For the same reason, today we have a very experienced counselor, Shaifali Verma, with us to discuss on some of the important questions that we need to be asking ourselves during this pandemic situation.
With no further delay, let's invite Shaifali here.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Bharat.
Hi, Shaifali. How are you?
Hi, Shaifali.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're meeting after a long time.
True. It's been ages.
Yeah, Shivali, why don't you introduce yourself for our audiences today?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Shaifali. I'm a counselor. I did my master's from Christ University in counseling psychology. And I've been working for about 5 years in the field of counseling and mental health. I am currently freelancing, working with CultFit and DocSap as a consulting psychologist. And I like doing workshops. And today, as Bharat and Supra has already mentioned, we are here to talk about mental health in this COVID situation.
Thank you so much, Shifali, for giving your time with us. So my first question is, so the importance of mental well-being and how should we focus on this aspect of our life?
Okay. So when it comes to the question, importance of mental well-being, first I would like to just give you a gist about what is mental well-being. So when we talk about mental well-being, it's more about, feeling good about yourself and also be able to function as an individual, in a group, in a relationship. Now, it really, doesn't mean that by when I'm saying that you need to feel happy, it really doesn't mean that you need to feel happy all the time. That's not possible, right? But it's more to do with when you're able to acknowledge your emotions, you're able to cope with the day-to-day challenges that you're facing, able to make the most of your opportunities, and kind of being able to give have a feeling of sense of purpose. So that's where, that's what mental well-being is. Now, when it comes to stress and situation where our mental health well-being is being challenged or we're struggling, I would like to mention one thing, that it's normal to feel stressed out. It's normal to have negative thoughts. Most of us do go through that. A lot of clients do come up to me and say that I had I was just thinking too much today. I've been having negative thoughts. Yes, it's absolutely normal, and most of the times these thoughts just passes by and we're able to cope with it. But the point is, when we need to focus here is that, and what we need to acknowledge here is that when these negative thoughts or feelings are being suppressed, right, or we're not trying to acknowledge them or talk about it, then it's an alarming situation. Because that kind of puts us in a place where we are more likely to develop or fall for any kind of mental health issues. That's a concern. For somebody whose mental well-being is not really good, that's when the chances of having any kind of major mental health issues increases. Because we're talking about pandemic COVID-19, so I want in fact everybody to just look at a couple of factors here and have a self-analysis on where are they standing right now. So I'll just majorly focus on 3 to 4 points. One is emotional well-being. Look out, how are you doing emotionally in terms of your feeling? How are you coping with your emotions? What are your thought process like? Second thing is about coping with stress. Are you able to cope with day-to-day stress? Are you able to bounce back? Because difficult times, stressful times will come. But how much are you able to cope with it? What are you using to deal with it? Third point is your social or your family relationship. How is your relationship with your family, with your friends, with your partner? Is it getting impacted during this situation? Now, the other point is about yourself. the sense of security. How confident are you feeling? Take analysis, reflect on these points. You'll have your answer that where are you standing. And if you feel no, there's something not right, it's important that you sit down and reflect and look at the strategies or something that you need to work on.
Yes. So from what I understand from your talk is basically we need to be aware of what we actually want in our life. So that way
Yeah.
we'll be more focused. Personally, is what I feel. Actually, if we are clear on what we want from our life, we'll always be focused and keep working on it. Yeah. Thank you so much for this, a wonderful insight.
Uh, from my side, Shafali, like when you see considering the current situation, I would ask, there
Mm-hmm.
are people all are staying indoors. Like when we talk to anyone, they just talk only about COVID. They are just watching news it just generally happens.
Absolutely.
Whatever the number of cases has rise, which is leading to a lot of stress and anxiety. What I
True.
personally feel, and just
True.
put some notes on that area, how that should be taken
Absolutely.
care, which is very
Yes.
important.
Yeah, that's a very important question to understand. How are we getting impacted or affected by it? So, one thing that I want to begin with talking about is that a natural response to a situation like this is fear, right? The fear of contracting a disease, or fear of what will happen tomorrow, fear of what will happen to my job. So all of us are here somewhere trying to adjust to a new kind of routine, new kind of schedule. So of course it's leading to a lot of anxiety and stress here. And a lot of us, because like I said, it's the whole change in structure of we're working from home. We have issues regarding our finances, we have issues regarding probably I might not have my job tomorrow, or how do I cope with this salary cuts, right? So in such a situation, we need to understand that this is something that is going to be unknown for a while. We don't know when this pandemic is going to get over, and that's how it's impacting us. These are the challenges that we are facing, and this is what's impacting us when it comes to how do we cope with it, like your question was. So coming to the coping point about basically more about the challenges in terms of how much news should we watch, how it's impacting. Yes, you're right, because we are always logging in and probably looking out for Arogya Setu app. Okay, these many cases, what's happening out there? Okay, this is what's happening nearby me, that these many cases. So this just creates unnecessary anxiety for us. So it's important to look out. If it's creating anxiety for you, if it's creating stress for you, then we need to cut down. Now there's nothing like these many numbers, the times I need to check my phone, or this many times I need to look out for this. You can check once in a day, you get your information, and you can update yourself next day, tomorrow. Unnecessarily it will just create more anxiety. And if you have that urge, so instead of probably looking at the total numbers that are there, how about we look at something like, how can I boost my immunity? Like you guys also work in the area, like helping people with boosting their immunity and workout sessions. So similarly, look out for something more. How can I manage my physical health and my mental health? How can I cope with this kind of anxiety? So that's something, when it comes to your question about how to deal with what to watch and when to watch and how much to watch, I think that's something that we can look at.
Yeah, wonderful, Shifali. So that comes to my next, question. So, what are some of the coping strategies or techniques that we need to use
Mhm.
during this situation?
Okay. Yeah.
On
So
this?
absolutely. So during this situation, what we need to first and foremost understand that there, of course, there are certain specific strategies, but we need to understand the challenges of three generations, or rather like different age groups. So let's say when it comes to kids, right, the biggest challenge they are facing here is um, what should I do sitting at home? The other generation, like people like you and me, are facing challenges. Oh God, we have to work from home, we have house to take care of, and we have to do our office work, and then we're staying with the family. Then we don't know how to stay with the family 24/7 because we haven't stayed. Then there's another group who's probably, sitting somewhere and isolated, and they're probably stuck. So they have a feeling of, what should I do? Like, I'm feeling alone. I don't have a social interaction. Then there's a third group of elderly people who are probably trying to understand, why do I have to wear a mask? Why can't I step out of the house to meet my relative, falana person I've always been meeting? So it's very difficult to help them understand and help all three generations to come together and work throughout together. So yes, these are the overall picture of the challenges before we move on talking about the specific strategies. So when it comes to the specific strategies also, I think one thing that we really need to look at is that there are situations like which are beyond our control. Now that's inner circle are something the things that we can take a control of, like sanitizing your hand or making sure you're wearing a mask and going out. But there are a lot of other factors that are beyond our control, which kind of adds on to the anxiety for us. So we need to sit down and reflect the kind of questions that I'm having in my mind, which are bothering me, which are making me anxious. Are these unhelpful thoughts? Are they this under my control or not? And the best way to do it is probably take a sheet of paper and make them into small chits. Now write down the questions that are coming to your mind. Maybe unhelpful thoughts like what will happen tomorrow, or what to related to COVID, or any kind of thoughts that are unhelpful probably for you. Now segregate them into two sections. A section, unhelpful thoughts which you feel you don't have a control over. Section B of thoughts which you feel you can take a control over. Now tear all those A section questions. Why? Because you figured it out already, you can't take a control over. Rather focus on things that are under the B category and look out. Okay, so let's say if I am looking to lose weight, for example, or I am looking to gain weight, for example, or if I'm looking to have a routine, then what steps should I take to get into that? Because that will not only be good for your physical health or whatever, but also will make you feel more productive about what is happening and will shift your focus. So that's something anybody and everybody can do. Something more specific strategies before I even talk about it. There's something that I again want to mention is that these strategies are more something that I can talk about right now, but it may or may not apply to you because everybody deals in a different way. They have different coping strategies. But having said that, maybe the first and foremost important thing is having a routine. Having a routine doesn't mean like get up at this point of time, eat at this time, sleep at this time. Of course, it's important to have fixed timings, but don't make it so strict that you're feeling overwhelmed and you're struggling to even cope with that kind of routine. So have a routine, but that will help you stay more focused and more productive. It shouldn't be like, because we're working from home, let's not take bath and I'll take it in the evening, because then your whole schedule is all over the place. So that's something important. Maintain a personal hygiene, second and very important point. I don't think so I need to talk a lot about it. Everybody knows what it is. The third could be having or allocating a me time. Now, what is a me time? It's like a 30 minutes time that you're giving for your self-care. Every day having a fixed 30 minutes where you can focus on any kind of activity, like both of you encourage a lot of fitness activities, right? Online fitness group you have, or you have reading group. So people can, if you enjoy something like that, you can indulge in something like that activity, or if you can just sit back and listen to some music. But 30 minutes for yourself to help yourself feel relaxed or the kind of feeling you're looking at that time. So that's something. And another very important point, which I know Bharat and Supra always focus on, is getting enough sleep. So getting enough sleep, yes, it's important. And trust me, I get a lot of these clients talking about we don't feel really exhausted because, we've not been traveling, or we feel probably, we don't feel physically exhausted that much. So I'm not getting sleep. Or I am like awake throughout the night because I don't have to get up in the morning. So if you feel you're struggling with sleep, or no, then look out for, let's say, maybe apps like Tide, or look out for sleep stories or music, that something can help you sleep, because it's not only important for your mental but also for your physical health and your productivity. Other thing which like I think we did cover about how it's important to look at internet and what information, that's another very important strategy in terms of coping with stress. Having said that, I also do realize that a lot of us have this anxiety more to do with, let's say, not contracting COVID, but more to do with what if I've been admitted in the hospital. So I did get a client who did mention about something like this. What if I'm admitted to a hospital? What if I don't get a private ward? Or what if I'd have to share a washroom? So that kind of anxiety also takes place. So in a situation like this, when it's unhelpful thoughts, yes, it's important to do the activity that I did mention, but also it's important to have a gratitude time. So at that kind of situation, when you're probably at the end of the day trying to sleep and you're counting on things that you're thankful for, okay, I'm safe, I'm fine, so you're kind of have these negative thoughts are changing into more positive thoughts, like I'm thankful that I'm safe today, I'm thankful for the family that I have, or I'm thankful for the hands and the eyes that I have. So it's like turning the tables, more positive kind of thoughts. Another point is picking up a hobby again, like it's a very difficult time. I know we can't step out of the house, but like your initiative as well, how about people just join in a book club or painting or something, like a cooking, something that they are passionate about, and get a professional course done. There's so many courses that are available for free. There's so many webinars, sessions that keeps happening. So that not only helps you keep engaged, makes you feel productive, but also helps you keep yourself a bit distracted from this kind of situation. So having a hobby or upgrading your skill, because if you're feeling that I'm scared about the employment situation, so it's the best time to probably upgrade your skill, enroll into something. So this is something I feel one needs to look out. Having said that, if somebody feels that I have tried these things, it worked out for me earlier, right now it's not working out for me, or I know this is fine, but there's something more, then recognize for yourself what's helpful, what's typical, what happens, but what's something that's off, so what's something that never happened earlier. If something like that comes up, it's okay to reach out for a professional help or talk to your partner or family members about it.
That you have really wonderfully covered a lot of pointers in this, Shaifali, which I was thinking on that part. But coming to the situation, like when you said about gratitude and all those, that really works. And more than you just saying about the gratitude, it gives a peace feeling inside you after you do that. Leaving
True.
about the external factor, internally it gives you a well-being about it. But let's take an example of my own, considering my office scenario. It is not just because of the pandemic. I always had an issue with the sleep. You were just talking about sleep, so I thought to touch on that again.
Sure.
So I take a long time to get sleep. So
Mhm.
recently I started practicing those music which you were talking about.
Yes.
It
Yes.
at times really helps, but at times we get distracted with that music as well. Is there any
Yes.
way which it will help me out and I can sleep faster? I mean, it will really help me though. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So, yes, I'll help you with that. But having said that, we also need to realize, we are humans and not the same thing will always work. And there'll be days when things are working. Some days things won't work. The good idea is to maintain a fixed schedule. Like if you're going to bed at 10, always go at 10, but have a buffer time. Let's say from 9:45 to 10 for like 15 minutes to make sure your temperature of the room is fine, room is dark enough. Okay, if you're listening to music on phone, then your phone should not be near you. Like you should not be actually facing your screen or watching a lot of something TV just right before your bed, because that kind of also impacts your sleep. The other thing that you can probably do, I do understand the challenge that because of the music sometimes there's another kind of thought process that happens. In such a situation, what you can also switch to is something called either sleep stories or something called a body scan relaxation exercise. There are a lot of videos available. What it does like it. It's more about relaxation exercises, which makes you focus on different parts of your body, and you're hearing it and you're practicing it along with it. So you feel very relaxed, you feel light, and then maybe you can after that switch to a more relaxing music. Having said that, let's say you've tried this, and even after this, you feel that it's been 40 minutes and I haven't got sleep. So a good idea would be jump out of your bed, not literally jump, but get out of your bed and get up and maybe do something really boring, a household chore which you don't like washing utensils, or let's say cleaning your cupboard, which doesn't require a lot of strategy, is boring. And then maybe after that, try coming back to sleep. That can be helpful because that gives you a sense, I'm exhausted and I'm bored, I need to relax kind.
Yeah, the last one was something really interesting. I would actually try that out. Thank you,
Sure.
Shaifali.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, these all strategies, Shifali. Adults somehow will put in conscious effort and they can do it. But what about children and students? How should we help them to cope with this COVID-19 related stress?
Sure. Yeah, so that's a very important question because as adults, we can think of a lot of things, and children and students do face difficulties. On this point, I would like to break my answer into two segments. One is for children, are the when we see them as kids who are with us at home, and then students who are probably studying and struggling with online Zoom classes right now. So when it comes to children, we all know that the kind of imagination these kids have, they're really imaginative. So what here is very important is to kind of assure as parents that we don't kind of create an environment of a lot of anxiety. So because if you are kind of portraying that you're anxious, or if you are talking about the whole pandemic and the COVID-19 situation in front of them, that can kind of create a situation where they're very anxious or feeling overwhelmed. It's important to keep them informed, to assure that they know what's going on and taking basic precautions, but according to their age. It should not be an overload of information. That kind of instills a lot of anxiety in them. So make sure they're informed, but in a balanced way. Second thing is, when it comes to kid, I would like to mention, because all of us are coming from Indian homes here, something that I think most of us have seen in our childhood. Our parents or any of the family members, in fact our sibling also, threatening us literally, like, do this, otherwise this guy will pick you up who's walking on the road, or the ghost will come and they'll take you away. So such things instill a lot of fear in kids and give them a sense of insecurity, and you should not do it otherwise also, but specifically in this situation as well. Threatening them with the word COVID is going to only impact their personality development and how insecure they feel. So it's important that we kind of don't take it as a weapon of threatening them. So that's something. Other thing, the kids, I think, needs a lot of reassurance. They like that kind of attention from their family members. So help them deal with the situation, because they're not going to school, they are not able to meet their peers, even though they hate going to school, but they were able to interact with teachers or learn something. So it's important that as parents, as family members, we give them a lot of attention, not just by sitting with them or just just telling them okay, on dinner table or something, but otherwise also. I do understand that we ourselves are struggling and juggling with our household chores, not having a maid right now, and work from home. But maybe what you can do is buy them more board games instead of shooing them away with taking a mobile phone and you play the game. Get them games, have a family time. That's also your 30 minutes of me time, probably, if you want to take it like that. So something like on those lines for kids, for sure. Maybe also getting them also into a routine, not again a very disciplined one, but a normal routine that soothes their anxiety and their feeling of what should I do next, where should I go, what's next, I can't do this, I can't go outside. So something that will help them cope with it. Coming back to your question about the students, I think the major concern students have right now is more to do with how do I study, or when will my exams be, or I'll have my online exams now. How do I study? I can't focus and just open my books because I'm not stepping out of the house and Zoom classes are lagging. How do I study? how do I understand? So for students also, it's important to have a routine, but also to have a to-do list. Like get up in the morning, or at the same time, if your school are, let's say your classes are starting at 10, get up at your usual time when you used to go to school. You have 2 extra hours in hand. Create your to-do list, prioritize. I need to study this, I need to do that. Then get into creating this kind of thing. Okay, I need to, after my classes I can have my break time also. Then binge watch whatever you want to as a reward if you're able to meet your to-do list. Other thing which I want to focus here on is the procrastination. I think that also applies to most of us and also to the students. So, there's a very interesting example that I always talk about with a lot of my clients. I'm sure Bharat and Supra, you both enjoy eating cake as well. And I think most of us do, right? Even though it has calories, I do understand. But let's say I do enjoy eating cake, and let's say I enjoy eating sponge more than cream. So I have two options: either eat the sponge, which I like eating, and eat the cream later, right? Then I'm left with I'm enjoying my cake, and cream is something that I can eat, or I can just reject it because I really don't enjoy it. The other option is I eat the cream first, and the most important part of cake, which I really enjoy, is left for me. I can easily aram se enjoy that. So similarly, it applies a lot to procrastination. So you have two options in that. One is either you can take up the easy task and do the interesting bit and then delay your difficult or boring task further and further, or just make use of this cake example I gave, and look out for the most difficult and the boring task and do it pehle and beforehand, and then just look out for that the cream or the boring the easy part or something for later, like something that you as it is or you'll enjoy it, or it's easy. Because if we are not doing that, if like I know it, some people say that what works for them best is doing the easy thing first. If that works out for you, well and good, but if it doesn't, then it's important that we do the boring part first and the easy parts later, because as it is you'll do that. So that's something I think students need to look out for your difficult subjects or the subjects that you find boring, and then do the latter one. And maybe apply a technique called Pomodoro Technique. It's a very interesting technique. I wish I knew when I was a student, I knew about this technique. It's a technique where it basically works on the principle that human mind focuses for about 20-25 minutes, and then it gets distracted and we need break. So what students can do is, in the morning when they wake up, identify their Pomodoros. Let's say they can have 4 Pomodoros, and I'll explain what it is. Let's say one Pomodoro means have 25 minutes of studies and then take 5 minutes break. Again, 25 minutes of studies, then 5 minutes break. What you can do is, let's say, have 5 or 4 Pomodoros at length and then have a long break. So because it's a proven factor, studying at length won't help you retain or grasp things that much as compared to if you're taking enough breaks in between. That's something students can do. Other thing is, of course, mind mapping, breaking down your content in more visual way. It works on the principle of by visualizing something you're able to remember. So break into charts, like flow chart it is. Let's say talking about human body. So write human body here, draw a line upwards, write organs. On the other hand, draw a line, let's say muscles, below bone, and rest of it. So you can easily Google it and see how it works out for you. So this is something for students. And I also want to focus on, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I also want you to mention here that why Pomodoro or mind mapping or any kind of writing techniques is helpful is because, like the old saying goes, if I hear, I forget. If I read, I remember. If I see, I remember. And if I do, I understand. So that's something that students can do, and that can be really helpful.
Wonderful, Shaifali. So many takeaways actually. Is to have a to-do list and follow a routine is one thing that I would like to focus upon. To get rid of this stressful situations throughout my
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
we were just discussing about kids now, Shafali. So when you see the current situation, moms are more worried, I would say.
Absolutely.
I just talked to my sister. I talked to a lot of my friends. I'm not sure how to understand this part, but they're just saying that they're going to waste their studies. 1 year is wasted. These are the lines which they speak. Sometimes I just think I may be thinking that way, that okay, if 1 year
Okay.
is wasted, also what is wrong? I mean, just tell something on that part. The way they get irritated or they get stressed out could be something on their end also. But just let's understand a little bit on this part. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah, there could be number of factors, and you're right. Like, as mothers, we feel, what will happen? My child should not lag behind. What will happen? How will the child cope? And it could be, sometimes mothers are really juggling to cope with their household chores, be it housewife or be it working women. The work has doubled for everybody, so that probably is coming from there. Well, it's a way to look at it. See, you again, like what I mentioned, there's certain things beyond our control. We don't know how long this pandemic is going to last, so everybody is sailing, when it comes to education, kind of on the same boat. So whatever available resources we have, yes, make use of it, but kind of not pressurize your kids too much also, because we know the Zoom classes are not really that well right now. It lags. So it's okay to kind of have a balance, give them their space to have fun, to chill, to watch, and to learn new things, and also help them make utilize of probably homeschooling right now and learn things about their families or something like that. But when it comes to studies, whatever is happening in school, at least help them to cope with it. Yes, parents would need to pay a little more attention here and help the kid to cope with this new method of learning. I know for parents it's difficult right now. A lot of parents are not very tech savvy, but kids can help with the technical part, and you can probably help the kid with the text part.
Very well answered, Shafali. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Because I personally wanted to know this answer because when I talk right to my nephew, he is just this is all kids are the same. They are very excited.
Yeah.
They are always very energetic. So it's beyond moms to control them. I understand that part. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shifali, for your wonderful time. Guys, like Shifali was mentioning, right, some of the techniques. So currently, me and Supra also, we are working on these techniques and helping lot many people out there. So personally, we have our own health club and book clubs that we organize to help people, to have a community wherein we help each other personally. Like if you are very passionate about book reading, you can, partner with us. We also have a public speaking forum where every week we meet and we discuss on very good self-help books. These all things. So guys, anyone out there who is very interested in these kind of personal growth initiatives, you can reach out to us and we can help you during this pandemic situation.
And also we believe in a concept called as wheel of life, which we generally follow. It's not only with respect to money or your career. There are other aspects of life which has to be also balanced. So we discuss on that, and which comes with learning slowly in the path of life actually. So we actually help people understand where it has to be balanced. It cannot just go one scale high and the other at the lower level. So that's all from our side. And thank you so much, Shifali, for joining us today. It was a wonderful meet, I would say.
Yes,
Same
and
here. I had a good time with both of you.
yes, I'm sure so many of us has got their questions answered with your wonderful knowledge that you have shared with us. And thank
Most
you
welcome.
so much again. See you all,
Most welcome.
everyone.
Thank you,
Yes.
both of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Good night.
Good night.